To the Honorable Mshomba.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My sincere apologies. I was held up in the constituency with farmers. I stand to move a motion that, aware that Article 43(1)(a) of the Constitution provides for the right of every person to access the highest attainable standard of health. Further, aware that poor quality of health services, especially maternity care, has been a recurring concern among the women in the country, noting that there is an increased pre- and postpartum mistreatment and dehumanized care of women by healthcare providers, also known as obstetric violence or OBV. Further, noting that obstetric violence includes, but not limited to, disrespectful and abusive behavior, physical and verbal abuse, neglect, forced medical procedures, humiliation, and assault in healthcare settings, concerned that sustained class-based disparities shape different maternal and infant health outcomes with women of low socioeconomic status, mostly experiencing greater levels of obstetric violence, and further concern that this is not only affecting women's physical and mental health, but also impact on the overall health outcomes of mothers and their newborns, significantly contributing to higher maternal mortality rates, cognizant to the fact that there exists no national policy or framework to address and prevent obstetric violence. Now, therefore, this House resolves that the national government, through the Ministry of Health, develops a policy on prevention of obstetric violence in healthcare facilities in the country and provides a framework for regular monitoring and reporting of the cases to curb incidences of pre- and postpartum mistreatment of women seeking health in health services. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mshomba. We go back to order number 7, Mwafrika. Member for Roysambu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to make a statement and to say that it is a sad moment for the people of Roysambu due to an accident which occurred at Mayungu. Mr. Speaker, that accident caused a death of 7 students of Kenyatta University. They were on an education tour to the Department of Health Management and Informatics. And Mr. Speaker, we have several students who are injured. 42 of them have been admitted at Moi Varo Hospital in Voi. 7 were airlifted to Avenue Hospital here in Nairobi, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, allow me to take this opportunity to convey my heartfelt condolences to the bereaved family of these students.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I also wish to join the MP Roysambu in mourning the death of the students of Kenyatta University. Honorable Speaker, it is very sad that we continue losing young brainy minds in our roles. Honorable Speaker, I want to say, as I convey my sincere condolences to the Kenyatta University fraternity and to the parents who are very expectant, Honorable Speaker, that their children are going through schools and they'll come back to the villages and be of value and use in the communities. Honorable Speaker, I wish to implore upon the government, Honorable Speaker, to take measures, because every other day we are hearing of school buses having accidents. Prior to that, Kapsabet boys had an accident where they lost a teacher and a student. Honorable Speaker, it is the high time that the government puts in measures that can be able to mitigate this so that we stop loss of young people, Honorable Speaker, in our roles. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I too join the family of Kenyatta University in mourning their loved ones and wishing those who are injured very speedy recovery. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Mudhoni. Yes, Honorable Member. Not Rindikiri, the member for Igembe North.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. I want also to join my colleague, Mwafrika, in condoling the families of the bereaved, and also to extend my sincere sympathies to those who are recuperating in various hospitals. It is sad, actually, to lose very young souls, very illustrious future leaders of this country through tragic road accidents that we have seen taking place in the recent near future. I do also appeal to the Ministry of Health or the ministry concerned to take up the bills so that these families cannot suffer grievous loss that were not intended. I rest my case, Honorable Speaker.
Rindikiri.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Indeed, it is a sad day for Kenyatta University students, the parents, and the nation at large. Mr. Speaker, for the last couple of days, the country has witnessed a lot of accidents on our lawns. Mr. Speaker, it is happening dealing when we thought the government will be very keen, particularly the Ministry of Transport, which is in charge of the transport in this country, to have taken serious initiatives to address the many causes of accident in this country. In almost all corners of this republic, you see Busia, Meru, Mombasa, everywhere there is a fatal accident happening. And there seems to be no serious response from the ministry concerned. Mr. Speaker, I think time has come that the ministry and the government revisits the way the transporters, either passenger or cargo or whatever, is being managed by all of us. Mr. Speaker, the accidents are happening as a result of carelessness. It's happening as a result of the way the roads have been designed. It's happening as a result of lack of proper mechanical standards of vehicles in this country, particularly, Mr. Speaker, the passenger vehicles in this country. Mr. Speaker, there was a time we used to have road control checkpoints. Mr. Speaker, that seems to have disappeared. Mr. Speaker, we never used to hear, the government had put measures to strictly prohibit trucks traveling at night. Mr. Speaker, there was a time we used to have check limits and even roadblocks. Mr. Speaker, I think the carelessness in terms of our drivers is evident. Mr. Speaker, drivers traveling for long distances. Mr. Speaker, these are matters that the Ministry of Transport are failed to address in conjunction to all the stakeholders. Mr. Speaker, the casualties more are the school children. All the buses in this country, Mr. Speaker, they don't meet the international standards of passenger vehicle standards by all means. And I think we need to ask the ministry to be conscious of this and to start taking this matter very seriously. We really sympathize, we really express our condolences to the family of the dead and also those who passed on. May God bless their soul in eternal peace. Thank you.
Maungu.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity given to me to stand with our students who perished at Kenyatta University. Just as the honorable member spoke clear, Mr. Speaker, it is indeed very sad for this country when we as a nation lose young lives, especially our youth, whom we depend on for today and tomorrow, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in the last 1 week, we had 2 institutions having their buses involved in road accidents. That was a school in Kapsabet, and a few days after, we had the KU bus that was involved in an accident, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
But what was even painful, Mr. Speaker, was to see social media aflash with photos and pictures of students caught up between the wreck, Mr. Speaker, even before the parents could even know of the same. So what I want to say, Mr. Speaker, is that it's high time that we looked into the safety of school transport, be it is in secondary schools or universities or other colleges, Mr. Speaker. It's high time that we as a country looked at the safety of students who use these modes of transport, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it's high time that we even went further to look at the transport, the public transport sector, because our drivers need to be extra careful, especially when carrying these young souls or when ferrying them from one end to the other, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, as I stand with my people, I want to convey our condolences on behalf of myself and the people of Rwanda to the affected families and call upon the government to come in handy and maybe support these families, Mr. Speaker, either by meeting the costs, the medical costs of all those who are currently in hospitals, as well as last expenditure for those whose lives were lost, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Daud. Give Honorable Daud the mic.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, first is condolences to the 11 families who lost their loved ones in the bus, and quick recovery to the ones who are in hospital. Mr. Speaker, like my colleague has said, Honorable Rindikiri, the issue with buses, the construction of buses in Kenya is on a wrong chassis. We were with NTSA 2 weeks back, and they said the buses which are made in this country do not follow the right guidelines, and they are made of the lorry chassis, which should not be the case. So that what is there, the envelope, there is no envelope protecting any passenger in those vehicles. And this is a wake-up call for the Ministry of Transport, because they need now to step their authority and get accidents to reduce. But Mr. Speaker, last week we had inter-county schools games in Meru, and the buses, one bus from Kitui nearly went into Nidhi Bridge, but luckily the driver crossed the road and went and hit the hill, so that he did not go into the Nidhi Bridge. So, Mr. Speaker, we need now to be more vigilant of how our trucks are, buses and trucks are driven, as well as the NTSA has to come in. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. We'll end there. May the good Lord rest their souls in eternal peace. And the majority leader try and impress the Minister of Education to have buses transporting our children to be properly serviced and be driven carefully. Allow me to acknowledge Narumoru girls from Kieni in the Speaker's Gallery. Kieni is in Nyeri County. Mugumo girls from Gishugu in Kirinyaga. Gadhiriga Junior Secondary School from Kipipiri, Nyandarua. On behalf of myself and the House, we welcome all the students and their teachers to the House of Parliament. Yes, Wandai.
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. I'm raising on point of order, understanding order 142. This basically concerning concurrence of the other house in terms of processing of bills.
Concerning?
The concurrence of both houses.
Yes.
In terms of processing of bills.
Can you do that when I finish the statements?
Okay.
I still have some statements. Joshua Kandie, member for Baringo Central.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Pursuant to Standing Order 44-2C, I wish to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Education regarding the delayed salaries and understaffing of non-teaching personnel in special needs schools. Honorable Speaker, special needs schools play an indispensable role in our society, catering to the unique requirement of students with diverse learning abilities and disabilities. Additionally, it is evident that non-teaching staff, often referred to as support staff, play a vital role in fostering conducive teaching and learning environment within schools. Support staff encompasses a wide range of roles, including administrative personnel, transcribers, physiotherapists, teachers, aides, cooks, cleaners, and drivers. Honorable Speaker, support staff in special needs schools play a crucial role, often extending beyond the confines of traditional teaching responsibilities. However, schools continue to face challenges such as delayed payment of support staff salaries and inadequate staffing levels, which has adversely impacted the smooth operation of the schools. Honorable Speaker, it is against this backdrop that I seek a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Education on the following. What measures has the Ministry of Education put in place to ensure increased budget allocations to meet the needs of special needs schools and timely payment of support staff, particularly in Kabarnet School for the deaf-blind children in Baringo Central? Number 2, what initiatives have been rolled out to support staff in schools catering to students with disabilities? 3, what does the ministry intend to support staff in affected special schools, given the crucial role of support staff in fostering effective learning environment for students with disabilities? I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Education Committee. Honorable Mel is not here. Any member? Yes, Julius.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Bring a statement in 2 weeks. Bring an answer to the statement in 2 weeks.
Yes, we will.
Next, Owen Bayer, member for Kilifi North.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My capacity as member of Kilifi North. Honorable Speaker, I want to request a statement regarding the withholding of academic certificates by school heads in both public primary and secondary schools. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44-2C, I rise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Education regarding the withholding of academic certificates by principals in both public primary and secondary schools in the country. Honorable Speaker, most primary schools and secondary schools in Kenya have withheld the release of examination certificates because of students' failure to pay school fees and other dues, thus transforming the legal character of the certificate from documentary evidence of an individual's academic performance to a debt instrument. Honorable Speaker, Article 53(1)(b) entitles every child to the right to free and compulsory basic education, while Article 55(a) of the Constitution obligates the state to take necessary measures, including affirmative action programs, to ensure access of relevant education and training by the youth. To this end, the Kenya National Examination Council was established to conduct examinations and award certificates to learners upon completion of every level, particularly for primary and secondary education. Additionally, Section 10(1)(b) of the Kenya National Examination Council's Act 2012 prohibits any institution or person from withholding Kenya National Examination certificates or diploma from any candidate. Further, the Ministry of Education issued directives and guidelines requiring schools to promptly release academic certificates to students irrespective of any fees arrears. Honorable Speaker, most students who are indebted to schools are from poor and disadvantaged backgrounds because their parents are unable to raise school fees, and withholding their examination certificate is equivalent to killing their future careers, prospects, and dreams. Honorable Speaker, it is sad that implementation of the laws, directives, and guidelines has been wanting over the years, depriving learners of rightful access to their academic certificates, thereby impeding their path to academic advancement. Honorable Speaker, that withholding of examination certificates by school heads amounts to abuse of power and lack of integrity. It goes without saying that education is the greatest equalizer in today's society. Therefore, examination certificates should be released to examinees so as to allow them to join TVETs, colleges, and universities to enable them pursue higher learning and better their lives. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee of Education on the following. 1. Could the chairperson conduct an inquiry into the withholding of academic certificates by various school heads in the country, contrary to Section 10(1)(b) of the Kenya National Examination Council Act 2012, and provide a report to the House, including recommendations for direct access to academic certificates by students? 2. Could the chairperson provide a report on the number of examination certificates being withheld in various schools in the country since 2012 and the reasons for being withheld? 3. Could the Kenya National Examination Council consider leveraging on ICT by developing an alternative platform for examination registration and direct access to examination results and certificates by examinees? 4. Could the chairperson recommend that the Kenya National Examination Council recalls all examination certificates held by school heads in Kenya? 5. Could the chairperson recommend that the Kenya National Examination Council ensure that school heads act purely as agents of the council and not abrogate their other responsibilities by withholding examinees to ransom? And lastly, Honorable Speaker, could the chairperson recommend that the Kenya National Examination Council opens examination centers in every sub-county in Kenya and post examinations officers to coordinate examinations, receive all results from NEC once they are released, and have all the examinees pick their examination certificates from the centers? I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Owen. Julius, another 2 weeks, you bring the statement response on the same day?
Yes, thank you, Honorable Speaker. Considering that we are breaking for recess, I do seek your indulgence to do an extension by 1 week, because that's a weighty matter that requires calling for information from various government agencies, the NEC and the other offices. Kindly.
I will not accede to that. This is a very short recess, and committees are busy working. They are not going on any recess. So get to the ministry and bring the responses in 2 weeks. Joseph Lekuton, member for Laisamis.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order number 44, sub 2, subsection C, I wish to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Department Committee of Environment, Forestry and Mining regarding the status of preparedness of Northern Kenya pastoralists to cope with the impacts of climate change. Honorable Speaker, climate change poses significant challenges to Northern Kenya pastoralists, especially with livestock losses and diminishing crop production in the semi-arid areas. It's regrettable that the government is yet to put elaborate strategies and initiatives to promote resilient livelihoods among pastoralist community in the face of these environmental adversities. As the region suffers an alarming livestock depletion of nearly 70%, Mr. Speaker, sir, and the increasing impossibility of crop production in Northern Kenya counties, there seem to be no sustainable development practices and alternative livelihoods opportunity to enhance the adaptivity, capacity, and economic stability of pastoralists in the northern region and ensure long-term resilience following the impacts of climate change. Honorable Speaker, additionally, climate change has induced shocks such as limited pasture availability and increased water scarcity, which calls for comprehensive policy measures, capacity building programs, and investment strategies that will help empower pastoral communities, protect their livelihoods, and ensure their sustainable socio-economic development in the foreseeable future. Honorable Speaker, it's against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Environment, Forestry and Mining to provide a report on the status of government preparedness and programs put in place to assist pastoralists in the northern Kenya regions and other arid parts of Kenya to curb or cope with the effects of climate change. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Lekuton, who is the chair of the relevant committee dealing with the environment. That is, yes, Honorable Member for Nakuru East.
Yes, Honorable.
Bring a response in 2 weeks.
Most obliged, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Honorable members, will now invite the member for Higher.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I seek your indulgence on a matter that I raised in this House 2 weeks ago on a statement to the CS Treasury regarding the public service superannuation scheme, of which the Cabinet Secretary has not nominated the board members since December. And now we are going on recess. Honorable Speaker, no answer has been forthcoming despite the fact that I did raise it officially in the House, and therefore the board is not working, and that makes the workers, teachers and any other public workers not get the services they should be getting from that public service superannuation scheme. So my indulgence is that you may ask that the CS be pushed or moved to bring the answers to the statement. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Chairman Finance, where is Kimani? Majority Leader, you will advise the member for Molo, the Chair of Finance, to bring a response when we resume. All the honorable members, take your seats. I give this short communication. We go back to order number 2. Rwanda, you want me to hear you first? I'll give you 2 minutes. Okay, 2 minutes.
Honorable Speaker, actually, I raised on a point of order understanding 142, read together with the Article 110, Sub-Article 4 of the Constitution. This basically the matter concerning concurrence of both houses on bills that concern counties. Honorable Speaker, both the standing orders and the Constitution are silent on how long a bill can take in one particular house.
a bill that requires concurrence of both houses. Once referred to the other house. I'm specifically referring to the sugar bill, which we processed in this house late last year. And it's a bill that was sponsored by the Honorable Emmanuel Wangui. But it's a bill also that attracted a lot of public interest, and especially in the Western Kenya, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, this is now March, approaching April, and we have not seen any indication that the bill has been brought back, either with amendments or without amendments from the Senate. So I'm not sure how you guide this, but I would really want to plead with you, perhaps use your good office to impress upon the other house to perhaps fast-track the bill. Because, Honorable Speaker, I was in the village last weekend. The issue of sugar is so emotive, and everywhere we go, we are being asked, where is the Sugar Act? Where is the sugar bill? Where is the sugar bill, Honorable Speaker? And on the same note, as I conclude, maybe 1 minute, on the same note, Honorable Speaker, I know a lot of processes are underway in terms of leasing out the sugar farms, the public sugar farms, the mills. Honorable Speaker, you and I know that Manyora Sugar Company was exempted from this process. But as we speak, Manyora Sugar Company is idle and the community around it are suffering. How I wish, Honorable Speaker, you would use your good office to perhaps impress upon the President in the same manner he acted on Momia's case, that the cases around, the court cases around Manyora Sugar be withdrawn and out of court settlement be arrived at, so that the community can benefit from the Manyora Sugar facility.
Thank you. You've made your point. Yes, Owen Bayer, on the same issue? Yes. Go ahead.
Honorable Speaker, the minority leader raises a very, very important fundamental question on how long a bill should take between the two houses, and especially at the Senate. Honorable Speaker, it's on good record that as Parliament we've been fast-tracking Senate bills, and we have a lot of Senate bills in our order paper. But suffice it to say here, Honorable Speaker, in the 12th Parliament, the people of the coast waited for the Crop Amendment Act bill, which we processed here with Honorable Tandaza, to put cashew nuts and bixa as scheduled crops, something that the coast region had for a long time yearned for. We succeeded in this house. It was taken to the Senate. It went until we went sign die. And that has frustrated the farmers, because scheduling a crop, putting as a scheduled crop, means a lot. It means budget, it means extension officers, it means productivity. But the economy of the coast has continued to stagnate just because Senate kept a bill, and even when we were looking for it, nobody at the Senate knew where the bill was. Honorable Speaker, under your leadership, we would like this to change, so that when we finish a bill here in this house, we are able to take it to Senate, we have a time frame, and that bill can come back, whether for mediation or whatever. But bills from National Assembly going to the Senate stay inordinately without them being passed. It is a sad story, and I hope this bicameral bill we passed here yesterday, and which will go into a committee of the whole, will normalize this situation, so that the National Assembly does not suffer in the hands of the Senate. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and let me thank the Leader of Minority for raising that issue. Honorable Speaker, yesterday as I was driving here in the afternoon, I saw an engagement in the Senate. I was watching online, while they were complaining that we are also taking inordinately long to process their bills. But Honorable Speaker, you are aware that in the House Business Committee, we did purpose to consider all bills that are coming from the Senate, and in good faith, we have done that. But they're also complaining that the House did reject two bills, one proposed by Senator Charagay and the other one by Senator Mungatana.